A flash bursts in the sky as if the universe had lost its seam. The drone locks into the air. The camera pans until it shows, down below, you and your brothers in diamond formation. Everything smells like recent gunpowder, but there is also a strange odor, damp rust of ancient blood. Ahead, holographic sights flash on M4 rifles. Beyond the mist loom human walls of shields, erect spears, fluttering red feathers. In less than 35 seconds, 2,000 years collide. 40 soldiers of the 21st century against a living tide of 5,000 Legionnaires. It is too late to retreat. His breath fogs up the visor, his finger slides to the trigger, and his heart beats in Morse code, asking for reinforcement that will never come. The radio squeaks, pure static. Sergeant Goulart raises 3 fingers. Selective fire, storing ammunition. Each projectile needs to knock down 5 enemies, or they will be crushed on the short blade. On the other side, the centurion Julius Fabius spins. The vites, the vine staff, and the ground vibrates with the cadenced step of the legion. 50 meters, 40, 30. The first shot breaks the silence, opens a hole in the shield wall, but the formation closes like healing flesh. The Romans do not stop. Cries of "move on." In Latin, they echo with the same force as the stampede of their rifles. You feel the recoil of the gun on your shoulders, count cartridges, pray softly. If it fails, history will not forgive, nor will it leave witnesses. Imagine a flat field with no roof, no buildings, no trees, only dry land marked by footprints from different eras. On this neutral soil, where time has collapsed like a broken bridge between centuries, 2 worlds meet for an impossible war. On one side, a modern platoon with 40 highly trained soldiers, automatic weapons, frag grenades, night vision, ballistic vests, and real-time communication. On the other side, about 5,000 men of the Roman legion, organized, disciplined, armed with gladius, pilums, shields, and catapults. No air force, no satellite, just them face to face. The modern platoon is isolated. There is no evacuation, there is no rescue helicopter, there is no voice command to stop the mission. They have technology, tactics, surgical precision. But they have something that the Romans despise: limits. The legionaries, on the other hand, even with primitive weapons, have what made them unstoppable: unwavering organization, collective courage, and the certainty that dying for Rome was an honor. This mental, physical, and symbolic battle is not just a game of who would kill the most, but a deep study in how far the human mind can go when put against the wall of history. The question is not just who would win, but what does this collision reveal about the 2 extremes of the war? What is the real weapon, the rifle, or the indomitable spirit? If you've made it this far, it is because something inside you also feels the weight of this question. So prove that you are also part of those who do not run away from history. Leave your like now. It's the fuel that allows us to keep bringing battles that defy time and logic. And subscribe to the channel, not just to watch, but to be part of a different legion. The legion of those who think, question, and relive the impossible. The next war could be even more insane, but only those who are here will testify. They advance like cogs in a divine machine, each shield embedded in the neighbor, each step marked by the drum that dictates the rhythm of life and death. The Legion is not just an army. It is an organism of steel, leather, and will. It begins with the century, 100 men who breathe at the same rate. Then the cohort, 600 soldiers who bend but do not break. At the top, the legacy, a commander who carries 8 centuries of glory on his shoulders. The Romans don't rely on surprise, they rely on routine. They practice pilum throwing until the arm throbs. They repeat the testudo formation under a rain of stones until the spine creaks. Their real weapon is not the gladius, it is the discipline that transforms thousands into a single clenched fist. When the centurion shouts ad frontem, 20 rows move like a tide guided by the moon, and whoever is on the other side feels the psychological pressure even before the blade touches meat. On the modern side, the scenario is different. The platoon is small but lethal. Each soldier carries a miniature Arsenal M4 rifle with optical sight and tactical flashlight, secondary pistol, combat knife, radio communicator attached to the shoulder, grenades and Kevlar ballistic vest. They don't cluster together, they spread out. Each man covers an angle, trained to act in silence, at speed and with surgical precision. They make each shot a sentence. Their mind operates in real time. Distance, wind, terrain, cover, line of fire. In seconds, they decide whether to shoot or retreat. But they are not used to the unpredictable. They were not trained to face 5,000 bodies, driven by pure imperial will and faith. Their greatest weapon, however, is not in their hands. It is in their ability to adapt. Because while the Romans follow an ancient pattern, the modern platoon is strategic chaos, and in chaos they are kings. The first contact is brutal. The modern platoon opens fire in short, controlled bursts. The noise of gunfire echoes like thunder tearing through time. The front Roman rows fall, like training dummy, but the legion does not stop. They wait for the first wave to drop, and the second fills in the gaps with almost superhuman discipline. Modern soldiers retreat tactically, redrawing the battlefield with gunpowder trails. But the enemy does not hesitate. He doesn't scream, he is not afraid, he advances. When the Romans approach 20 meters, the platoon threw grenades. The explosion is a hellish rumble. Bodies fly, ash and sand fill the air. 3-second silence, and then the sound of the sandals returning, firm steps, slow, as if to say, "Your tricks don't scare us, we came to make history with blood." The platoon realizes that it is dealing with something beyond modern logic. It is fighting against eternity in the form of men. Minutes become eternities. The floor is covered in shells of ammunition and blood, both modern and ancient. The platoon has already eliminated hundreds of Romans, but the legion seems inexhaustible. The formations continue to renew themselves, like waves, on a besieged beach. The shock strategy begins to fail. The grenades are running out. Ammo magazines decrease, and worse, the space closes. The safe distance disappears. When there are only 10 meters left between the worlds, the combat changes language, that of gunpowder to that of steel. The first spear goes through an operator's vest. The scream is drowned out by another attack. The gladius finds flesh. The aim no longer matters. Now it's hand against hand, breath against breath, eyes wide in the face of death. And the question comes back to every soldier's mind. How does one survive the past when he refuses to die? In the chaos of melee, the field becomes a hellish scenario. The rifle, once an extension of the body, becomes too heavy a burden. Many drop long guns and resort to pistols, knives, or even blows with their own helmets. The Legionnaires, on the other hand, shine in this terrain. Short gladius, wide shield, maneuvers rehearsed with deadly perfection. The shield hits. The gladius enters. Short, fast, deadly. They do not attack out of anger, but by method. While a modern-day soldier tries to breathe, 2 Romans surround him like predators. Technological superiority crumbles in the face of trained instinct and the millennial experience of physical combat. The modern mind, trained to evaluate, hesitates. The Roman mind, molded to obey, acts. And it is in this fraction of a second that lives are lost. Because in war, to hesitate is to die. The peloton feels the weight of time crush their advantage. And now, more than ever, every move needs to be not just fast, but definitive. The battle drags on. The floor is a mosaic of bodies, dust and dried blood. The sun begins to descend on the horizon, dyeing everything red, as if the sky itself were in mourning. The survivors of the platoon hide behind pieces of rock, trying to reorganize. An operator whispers, "How many are still coming?" The answer comes in silence. The Roman ranks are still marching, though slower. Wounded, yes, but still standing. The platoon commander looks around and sees only 6 of his men. The radio muted, the plan exhausted. On the other side, the legion also bleeds. The centurion Julius Fabius has his arm bandaged, but continues to shout orders. They don't understand automatic weapons, but they do understand resistance. At this point, it's no longer about victory, but about honor. The field has become an altar. War is now a sacrifice. And both sides, past and present, have already understood. Neither will come out of there intact, be it physically or spiritually. What remains in the end is not a clear winner, but a field where 2 worlds have left pieces of themselves. If the ammunition hadn't run out, the platoon could have won from a distance accurately. But there, where weapons fail and bodies touch, Rome is still master of combat. The few modern soldiers who survived look around, stunned. There is no celebration, only silence. They won, perhaps, but at what cost? And the Romans, even though they fell by the hundreds, they advanced with the same determination with which they crossed the Rubicon. For them, death was just a price paid for glory, and somehow they conquered it. Because even defeated, their bodies form walls. They died as they lived, united, organized, determined. And this is something that not even technology can erase. When the 2 worlds meet, the ultimate question is not who won, but who left their mark on eternity. In the end, the imaginary battle between a modern platoon and a Roman legion is not just about strength or tactics. It is a cruel mirror that reflects what war says about us at any time. The rifle, the gladius, the grenade, or the shield are just tools. What really matters is who wields them and why. In every Roman soldier, there were centuries of tradition, faith in the Republic or the Emperor, and one certainty: to die in combat was to be remembered. In the modern soldier, there were doubts, protocols, and a silent will to survive. Perhaps this is what unites the two, the fact that, on the battlefield, there is no past or future, only the absolute present, where every breath can be the last. And in this field, as old as it is current, the real victory is never over the enemy, but about fear. Because whoever overcomes fear, even in the face of death, is already immortal. If this content made you see the war with different eyes, if you have aroused curiosity, chills down your spine, or even that question that no one dares to ask, so leave your like, not out of vanity, but as a form of retribution. Every video like this requires hours of research, writing, and emotional delivery, and this simple gesture of yours helps to keep alive this mission of transforming curiosity into real knowledge. And more. Sign up now, because here, each story goes beyond who won. It transforms how you see the past, the present, and yourself.